Podcast 50 in the house.
Wow, the big 5-0.
Stephen, welcome.
Thank you.
How did he make it on the big 5-0?
I know. I feel
so lucky.
Way too special right now.
I don't know. Is Stephen not deserving of the big 5-0?
I guess he is. He's on it.
I guess so. I'll take it.
I mean, a client did call him earnest, educated, eager, young, and refreshing.
I thought that was so nice. He was way too generous with that. That was really, really nice of him to say.
So I think he is deserving.
He's deserving for sure.
Of the big 5-0.
Yeah.
Man, what else is new? Really quick, we're going to do some small talk just to try to make this more interesting. Not that you're not interesting, because you are. I can't wait to jump in. But, man, Jeremy, 5-0, that's a big deal.
Yeah, good job, Eric.
Good job.
Good job, Jeremy. I keep things going. You put out the goal.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, to look back, a couple years, to think that, we would have 50 podcasts. There's just no way. It's just impossible.
We started in April or May of last year. So this is 16 months?
Yeah.
16 months, 50 podcasts, I'll take it.
Sure.
And then as long as, it's a shorter next time, 50 in 14 months.
Doesn't matter. It's going to happen when it's going to happen.
No, not set goals and try to achieve them. Just let things happen.
You guys are going for triple digits now?
Just let things happen, exactly.
When's podcast 100 going to happen?
It's good to set goals, but, we're doing what we're doing.
We're doing what we're doing.
On the process.
No, we're definitely doing more than. It is difficult to prepare to do these podcasts, etc. There's a lot of time and effort and team collaborations, etc. I mean, it's not so easy to throw 50 podcasts together. Just saying. Definitely not.
Especially with you, like, let's go. We gotta go. We gotta do this podcast. No, I'm just messing with you. It's all good.
So hopefully the next 50 we take it up some notches. We bring some experts on. We've been talking about it. We're working on that. And so what else is exciting?
Yeah, just watching the little bit that I've observed so far since being here, it's incredible. I mean, the rate you guys produce at is insane to me. If it was me and I was doing podcasts, I'd be on 5 right now and I'd be exhausted. So the fact that you guys have got 50 is it's incredible.
Thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Eric had to sit in the sauna for 20 minutes before this podcast, so you see where he gets his energy from. Just goes to show you how important meditation is.
It is. It's very important. I did sporadic whole body workouts for the past few weeks. This was my first focused chest and back in 2 or 3 weeks, and it felt good. Had to end it with a sauna and a shower, and it's good.
Ready to roll.
So that's I think my plan is to then do arms and shoulders tomorrow, legs Thursday, and then maybe a whole body over the weekend.
Nice.
True bodybuilder.
No, I just need to. Yeah, I've got 7-8 days left on my summer goal, and I'm 8 pounds down, which is okay.
That's good, yeah.
Was hoping for 20, but I'll get 2 more pounds in the next week. I'll at least get half, which I'll take, but we'll set the next one and we'll keep rolling.
The goal is still there. The timeline just changes.
The goal is still there. The timeline just changes. I like that. It's true. Because, again, one of our favorite quotes is, the time's going to happen anyway. Might as well. Still enjoying the journey. So nothing, not working out twice a day and cutting off food or whatever else. Right. Just definitely a little bit more mindful. Not running as much as I would have liked over the summer. It just seemed like hot days, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm not running as much either, but I'm walking a lot.
Are you walking?
Yeah.
I'm walking a lot too. So running needs to increase. I think it will. August, September, October, those are perfect months to run. The fall days. And diet's good. Maybe I could take it up a notch, but diet's good. So we'll see.
Awesome. Good job. 8 pounds. No, that's good.
That's
because the last 15, 20 pounds, that's always the hardest to lose.
Is it the last? Like 196, 197. I was 204 when I started this 2 months ago. I don't know. Is it 180? Is it one?
But you started at 250, right?
Right. It's always worth remembering history of it as well.
Yeah, I started at 250.
Where you started at.
But man, a lot more muscle though, for sure.
Okay. Just kidding.
Okay. All right, let's jump in. Anything you want to catch yourself on?
Planning my trip here in the next, 8 days.
Are we going to do a pre-ayahuasca?
Well,
podcast?
it's not ayahuasca, but it's another type of psychedelic. Yeah, it's a pesquite. We might do, or we might just do it when I get back, if I come back.
Got it.
But yeah, just getting ready for that, cutting down on the caffeine, and doing a lot of walking, meditating, getting ready to dive into my soul.
What's the goal this time?
The goal really is to just create space, inner space, and I think what a lot of people are dealing with, all of us, is just judgment, just self-judgment and criticism. Even though I've come a long way from judging myself, I think there's still some times where I'm just like questioning myself, or am I doing this right and that, and I just don't want any of that. I think that's just one amazing thing to not deal with. So that's my intention going in.
To have zero doubts, you could say?
I already have zero doubts and 100% faith, but sometimes the mind kicks in, is like, it questions something. And it could be just like a brief moment, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
what if you are doing something wrong?
I don't believe in that. Because even if you
you're not.
Even if you do something wrong, you learn from it. So then now you're no longer doing anything wrong.
Right. But really quick.
Yeah.
Are you sure? I literally have a train in 24 minutes.
My question is that that's what our brains are wired to figure out right from wrong and wrong from right, and to learn from it. What are you learning from if you're not doing anything wrong?
Right. No, the question, it's not even that. Doing something wrong is fine. Like failing is fine. It's not even failing because you learn from the mistake. Right. But then it's like, if you do something wrong, do you think about it for the next hour, or is it just instantly out of your mind?
Like, how do you frame the failing?
Exactly. Look, we're all dealing with self-judgment and criticism. It's just to what degree, and where I was like 3 years ago and now is like night and day. But I feel like there's just still a little bit inside of me, and I don't know what it's from. Obviously, it's from childhood stuff that I can't seem to meditate out of myself. But I know plant medicine will definitely pull it out.
Progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever reach perfection?
Yeah, we're all perfect, actually.
It's a great point.
We're all perfect. The mind tricks us into thinking that we're not.
That's a great point.
So that's why creating the space between our true self and our essence and our mind is why we meditate, is why we exercise, because then you notice you do have that space. And plant medicine
fine. You think you'll
helps.
get to this perfection of thought?
To have no thought?
to have
none of the repetitive, unnecessary thoughts.
Yeah.
The 70,000 thoughts we have, and 90-some% of them are repetitive. I don't know. I'm not really worried about it, so just going with the flow, one day at a time.
But that's the goal in this trip?
That's my intention, to create more space. It actually was my intention last time, too, and it did. It created more space.
Interesting. Deep. Okay, so we'll can't wait.
We'll do a podcast when I come back, if I come back.
Are you trying to create space in your mind, or between Zero Doubt Club and Cleveland, Ohio?
We'll
To
see.
stay in Mexico.
We'll see.
Okay, Stephen, Mr. Earnest, educated, eager, young, and refreshing.
I guess that's one way to describe it. I'll take it.
No, what a great testimonial! But I think you hit it on the head. I mean, that's how we feel about you
Pretty
too.
generous, but
What?
pretty generous, but I'll take it for sure.
So Stephen is yet another Zero Doubt Club rockstar. He is a personal trainer for us and going to physical therapy school.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I just did my orientation last week, and classes officially started yesterday. So
Nice.
I'm officially rolling.
Congrats.
Thank you.
But for many hours a week, like 20 to 25 hours a week, he's available in between the studying and can help. What would help?
Contribute something, I hope.
Help. Well, not just personally train, but
Yeah.
really help people with their goals and get out of their shells and again, we're busy. But the thought was, do we bring on yet one more or not? But I mean, it was such a no-brainer with you because we wanted to bring you onto the team and not have you go somewhere else because we did see beyond the personal training what you could mean to the company and to clients. So
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And that was something that was super exciting for me about this job, was to have responsibilities outside of just taking people through workouts.
right.
You know, that's what I have probably the most experience within, but to be able to stretch myself and add value in a different way was exciting.
Nice.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's great. So you're at Bowling Green physical therapy school. How long?
2-year program. So most DPT programs are 3 years. This is an accelerated program, which means once we start, we kind of don't stop. There's like a little break in the winter, but we go straight through fall, spring, summer, all the way through both years. So
Nice.
it'll be pretty busy.
Nice. That sounds awesome. So yeah, tell us about yourself. Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, so technically I was born in Georgia, and then when I was like really little, we moved up to Cleveland. So I was born in Georgia, but raised in Cleveland. I went to St. Pascal's, if you guys know where that is, for middle school, and then Lake Catholic for high school. Had a great experience there. I played rugby, like 1 year of football, and then after that, went to BG for undergrad. And
Wait. High point of high school. Jump over high school.
Yeah, I did jump over it pretty fast. High point, it would be a combination between the experience that I had with guys with rugby, and then also some work experiences I had, honestly, outside of school. With I worked at a little place called Vicinato's Pizza. Shout out to them. But that was honestly a really good experience, and it kind of taught me things that you might not be able to learn academically, like sort of little life lessons. So I'd say high point was honestly rugby and work.
Man, I don't talk about my work experience as my high points of school, but I should. I mean, I worked a lot from caddying, and again, the carrying golf bags sucks, but dealing with really successful people and hearing their stories all day, every day was amazing and totally life transformational for me at 15 and 16, like super impressionable. And these guys are talking about buying and selling businesses in Vegas and this and that stuff you'd never hear. Right.
And you get kind of both sides of the coin when you interact with so many people, because you're just at that age, you're just kind of a sponge. You're just kind of a sponge when it comes to learning about, what you want to do with yourself in your life. And so you kind of get to see perspectives from other people who are ahead of you and say like, okay, well, this guy has done stuff that I really admire and might want to do myself. And this guy has done the opposite of that, things that I really don't want to do or don't admire. And you can't really learn that just by going to school. I think work experience gives you that.
Yeah, it teaches work ethic. It teaches the value of a dollar. I think it's super important. My kids have worked. I would have loved them to work even more, but again, not the money part of it, but the work ethic, what you were just saying, hit it on the head. It does frame you into, again, what you want, what you don't want, what you like, what you don't. It starts your business connections going for the rest of your life. Like, it's all really important.
Yeah, the experiential part of it, like what you gain from actually being in it and seeing what it's like to work with people in the real world. I think that's the more valuable part. I mean, making $7 an hour. I mean, I don't know.
Eating free pizza.
Right. Yes. Yeah. A lot of free pizza.
But here I am 30 years later training people that I can't eat for.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's crazy, right?
Connections really early on. Yeah.
That's pretty insane. So, okay. So high school, high points, low point.
Low point.
Go deep.
Go deep. I'd have to say.
This is a deep podcast.
Low point would probably have to be academics. I just really struggled to be motivated in high school, in general, but I think especially with academics. I think I couldn't really bring myself to care very much. I couldn't see why I was doing it, and I couldn't really find what I was interested in. Because I couldn't find what I was interested in and I wasn't that motivated to do well academically, I didn't really care that much and I wasn't that motivated. So I'd say the low point was honestly academics. And, it would fluctuate sometimes more than others, but looking back, I really did not put that much effort into high school just because I wasn't very motivated.
What are you going to tell your kids?
Please take academics seriously. Please focus on academics.
But what if they're like you? What if they don't kind of see the point? And what are you going to tell them that your parents didn't tell you?
Well, I mean, I think my parents probably could have told me everything they possibly could have to have me be successful in school, which is evident by my siblings who are very successful in school. They did.
I heard they were smarter.
Yeah, 100%. They were super supportive. So I don't know that there's much I would do. I would probably, I have no idea because I'm not a parent, but I would like to think that I would be similar and that I would just try to be supportive. And I think the biggest thing is I would just try to encourage curiosity as much as possible. Like keep asking why, keep wondering why, and because that's what I think pushed me to take academics seriously was when I realized I was intrinsically curious myself and I actually wanted to learn. It wasn't just something, check this box because my parents want me to do well in school. I actually was curious about learning more in general, but it took me a little longer than I would like to admit to sort of find that curiosity. And so I think to a kid, not that I'd be good with advice for kids, but I think I would just encourage curiosity as much as I could.
No, that's great advice, actually.
It's very good advice. Okay, then graduate high school. What was next?
College seemed like the logical next step. I actually remember my mom sort of letting me know sometimes, sort of indirectly being like, you don't have to go to college. Like you can, but you don't have to go. Don't feel like you have to go to college. Maybe saying maybe you're not meant for that.
But you were curious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was curious about a lot of things, not just academics, but
girls.
Just curious in general. And I think I did fall into that category of high school kids where it just seemed like the next step. I really was not thinking far ahead. I wasn't like, I'll use this to propel myself forward in this career and put myself in this position. It was really just like, well, other kids are doing this, so I guess I should go get me a degree as well, which is what it felt like at the time. And then it progressed from there. But
got it. When did you start weightlifting?
Weightlifting was in high school, and I guess that could also count as a high point. And I think rugby kind of helped get me into it. Lifting started in high school and was honestly huge for me as far as giving me more confidence, because I certainly wasn't getting a whole lot of confidence from academics. Socially, I had friends, but I was kind of odd, and I think I found a lot of confidence from getting stronger and making progress and just enjoying the process. So I think weightlifting started in high school and definitely influenced my interest in personal training after that.
So in college, obviously continued. You also got into powerlifting.
Mm-hmm.
Why powerlifting?
It's just so simple. I'm not very athletic or skilled or super talented. So I think powerlifting, not that this isn't a diss against powerlifters, like there's a lot of athletic, talented powerlifters, but for me, I think I was drawn to it just because it's so straightforward. You just either lifted more weight or you didn't. Right. And I think I was just drawn to that. I was drawn to this sort of simple metric of objective progress that you could see over time. I think I just...
But just like anything athletic, it takes discipline, a routine, performance, consistency. I mean, you could have applied that to piano. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you put in the and I get it that it snowballs into where it doesn't feel like work or whatever else, but it's something that you became super passionate about, and you've continued, and it's great. It's great.
Yeah, I really enjoy it now. Just like you said, eventually it gets to a point where I don't even ask the question anymore. It's not like, oh, do I? It's just what I do, and it comes sort of instinctually at this point. Nice. It's just enjoyable now.
And you compete?
Yeah, I've done two. Compete almost seems like a strong word, but yes, I go to competition. I've done.
Why do you go to competitions?
I think for two reasons. Number one, it's really helps with motivation for training. Right. Not like I said, I enjoy the process as it is, but there's no denying it for me. When there's a set date and time for when I'm supposed to perform at my best, it influences how well I train. It definitely does.
When there's I think that's everyone. That's why we coach people on 30, 60, 90-day goals. When you see it in writing, when you see it, especially if there's a life event or a competitive event, etc. Of course, there's additional motivation for sure.
Yeah.
I guess who holds you accountable? The event?
The event, yeah. I think the event holds me accountable. Like I said, I think I would train with or without an event, but how the quality of that training is definitely influenced by the event, because I know on that day I'm going to want to do the best I possibly can, and what I do in each training session influences that. Right. So I think it holds me accountable as far as how well I train.
Right. So it just pushes you that, what percent would you say? Additional 10%?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, and it definitely depends on the day, especially as the competition gets a little closer. I think that percentage probably increases, but yeah, I mean, it just definitely helps. It's hard to put a percentage on it, but it definitely helps.
Are you training for an event right now?
Yeah, I have one in, my third one will be October 15th. Yeah, so me and a friend are going to be doing it.
Why haven't you sent us anything to save the day? Jeremy might be on another ayahuasca trip, but
you never know.
Right, that would be a lot more exciting than a powerlifting competition.
Oh, no doubt about that.
Send us we'll come support for sure.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
That sounds great. Let's talk about diet throughout your.
Yeah, nothing really super, like with most of my stuff, nothing super like crazy or interesting, just pretty straightforward.
What's straightforward to you is not straightforward for others. I'm just saying, do you stay away from bad food? Do you treat yourself once in a while? I'm just wondering.
I think I definitely do treat myself. I think I'm pretty fortunate in that I just happen to be the type of person that can kind of eat a lot of the same foods over and over again. Like I can really appreciate very tasty food, like especially now that I'm living with my family, with my parents, they make really, really good food. And so I'm all over it. But when I was living on my own, when I had an apartment, like the type of foods I would eat, most people would like they would hate it because
noodles all day long.
No, that's the thing is it was just really plain, like chicken and rice and the broccoli with turkey burger, like really plain dry stuff.
Discipline, yeah.
But it seems like I'm like, oh wow, like that takes so much discipline. But for me, it's just the simplicity. If I know what I'm eating that week, I don't have to think about it. And so it's almost like a lazy thing. It's like I just pretty much I would eat a lot of the same things over and over again.
What about fast food, pizza?
Well, when I was working at the pizza place, that was a big part
Other
of my
than
life.
that doesn't count.
Honestly, I mean, on the weekends, if I went out with some friends, I definitely wasn't going to be the guy who's like, oh, I'll have just the broccoli, please. Like, I would enjoy myself depending on the occasion, but it wasn't super frequent, I guess. I'd say my weaknesses that were probably more frequent in college would be like chicken wings and beer. I was just...
Yeah, I think that's everyone's weakness in college.
Yeah, pretty much. What's your favorite exercise?
It's got to be deadlift.
I saw you doing those yesterday. What was it, 405?
435 was
435.
top set. Yeah, I think it's always been my favorite exercise. I think, especially just compared to the other two in powerlifting, the bench and the squat, I'm definitely just better in it naturally than I am in the other two. So it's more fun for me. It's also
Why do you think? Maybe because you like it more?
It could be, yeah. I don't know, with the chicken or the egg. Like, did I do well because I liked it, or did I like it because I was doing well? I'm not really sure. But either way, it was just a fun exercise for me.
Does anyone like squats the most?
There's definitely powerlifters. My friend who's competing with me, his squat is like way better than mine, and we're pretty much in the same like weight class and age category. And his squat is amazing. So his favorite might be squat.
Is he doing 600?
So he at like, I think he squatted in the competition. The last one we did, he got like 407, and which for his body weight is really.
What does he weigh?
I think at the time he was probably like just under 190, but now he's going to drop down for this competition to like 180, which is where I'm going. But I'm not going to be squatting 400 pounds, that's for sure.
It's a lot of weight.
Yeah,
that's a lot of weight. So you've been a personal trainer for how many years?
So it would be, I think I started, first personal training job would have been my sophomore year of college. So we're going on sophomore, junior, senior, just about under 4 years. Yeah.
And what have you liked about the role? What have you not liked about the role?
Yeah, I mean, I think what got me into it first was sort of like a process of elimination. Like I said, I had a lot of different job experiences, and was able to sort of narrow down, okay, I definitely don't want to dig dirt 10 hours a day. I know making pizzas isn't a bad thing, but I don't want to do it for that long. And so after realizing what I didn't want to do, I started thinking more specifically about what I liked and what I would enjoy doing.
Right.
And for me, I knew that was going to be working with people. It took me a lot more time to figure my future out, but one thing that I knew was that I wanted to work with people, just whether it's because I'm just socially inclined, or I don't know, I always found working with people interesting. So I think that's my favorite part of the job, is just meeting different people and gaining different perspectives. I think that's what makes it interesting.
Tell us a difficult client story.
Difficult clients.
There are no difficult clients. Come on.
Right.
No, and how he overcame and whatever else, whether it was their non-motivation, whether it was, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's hard to say. I think I've been really fortunate. I've really never had a client who was like, I've definitely had clients who weren't that motivated or didn't really want to work out, but I've never worked with a client who was just outright like disrespectful or rude or like obnoxious. Not that I can think of. I think I've been really fortunate with the clients I've gotten to work with. Challenging though, like clients that really kind of made me think more about what I was saying and how I was communicating and how I was presenting myself. That was definitely, when I started doing personal training in my junior year of college, I worked in like a small private studio and I would do consults. Mm-hmm. And so I think just in general, there were a couple clients that I can't really think of one client that was like really difficult, but just consults in general, when I started doing those, being in a room just one-on-one with someone and trying to have them open up when they're already in an environment that makes them feel pretty vulnerable. I think that was challenging. That was the most challenging part of personal training for me, was doing consultations and sort of getting to know people when they weren't that comfortable, and trying to sort of pulled them out of their shell a little bit. And, I definitely had ups and downs with that as far as how I did. I mean, initially not great, and I think I probably progressed over time.
Because if they're at the consult, I mean, they're pretty ready to do something.
Right.
So that wall might still be up, but it's ready to go.
Yeah, they've considered it at that point. This isn't something that I'm trying to convince them out of nowhere. They've decided this is something worth doing before I even try to influence them.
Right. So they're there. You're having a consult, and they're there because they know they need to do something, change, right? What do you think keeps that wall still up?
I think environment is huge, and that was something I think you guys do really well, and the place I used to work at did really well, was they created an environment that was comforting and welcoming. I think a lot of people who want to make a change go into an environment where there's a bunch of people with, tank tops and no shirts, and they're moving heavy weights, and it can be intimidating for a lot of the people, especially the people that aren't interested in exercise. The vast majority of people don't enjoy exercise. Like me and other personal trainers are in a very small niche of people that enjoy this process a lot. The vast majority of people find it very uncomfortable. So when you put them in an environment that makes them more uncomfortable.
I would disagree that they definitely like the end of exercising.
Most people.
Everyone loves leaving. That's
right. Yeah,
that's leaving.
That's a good point. I should be more specific. Yeah, a lot of people don't like starting exercise.
Right, or getting out of bed and getting there. But once they're here, I think
they get something out of it. Yeah.
Right. What else, man? What do you do on your off time when you're not working out?
Right now my off time is all school, but before that, it's mainly just reading and visiting friends. And
you do read a lot of books. Yeah, talked about it.
Big nerd for sure.
That's good, man. What are you excited about right now?
I'm really excited about this DPT program. This was something that seemed out of reach and very uncertain for a lot of college.
Yeah.
I mean, my freshman year, I decided that I wanted to go pre-PT, but I hadn't thought it through at all. I was just it seems like a good idea. I like exercise and they make okay money, so I guess I should do that. But then as I progressed, I realized okay, to get into PT school, you have to be doing really well academically. And I'll always remember my freshman year, there was a physical therapist that came in. This was one of the best classes ever. Not to go on a tangent right now, but this was one of the best classes ever. Basically, the class was just, here's your major, here are your options career-wise. This is what you can do with this major. And every single career had somebody come in and speak about what that career was like and how hard it is to be in that career. And so they had a physical therapist come in. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed her talk. I can't remember the details. But at the end, she said, look, I'm going to be honest. If you guys don't have a 3.5, the chances of you getting in are really low. And at that time, as a freshman who still was not confident about my academics, who still wasn't that motivated yet, I wasn't doing great. And I said to myself, I was like, there's no way. That's definitely not going to happen. And I wouldn't say that to family or friends. I'd kind of still save face a little bit. But I remember that feeling of, there's no way. 3.5 is way out of reach. And but fortunately, through a series of fortunate events with professors and books and different work experiences, I ended up taking academics more seriously, becoming more of a nerd, and now I'm in a position where I'll kind of get to further that, I guess.
So there's similarities between physical therapy and personal training.
I would say there's more similarities than there are differences. Yeah,
right. Sure. So it just seems like a pretty cool evolution and some additional value that you can bring personal training clients and both physical therapy clients into, because again, from what I've seen, and I don't know much other than my wife was a home care nurse and physical therapists are definitely in demand and so on. But it's people that are just dependent on the medical system, right? Because it's paid for, and it's just, I'll just have a physical therapist, keep coming back.
Yeah.
And then at some point, it's just like, man, how do you fix these people?
Right, and how do you like fix them long term?
Right.
Because someone might come in with an injury and sort of be below their functional baseline, and then through rehab and through the process that you go through with physical therapists, you might come back up to that baseline. But for the vast majority of the general population, that baseline is not great as far as health is concerned, as far as like disease risk and respiratory, cardiovascular health is not great. So
what about the most important health? Mental health.
Mental health, yeah.
That's the problem with these people. They've just given up, and I have an injury, and it's not going to get better, and I'm just going to keep having medicine, and doctors keep coming over and fixing me, and they don't want, their mind is what needs fixing.
In a lot of cases, yeah. And if I can influence that in some small way, that'd be awesome. But I'm certainly no psychologist or like mental health professional. But just through making it a good experience, whether it's personal training or physical therapy, making the process of achieving certain outcomes enjoyable for people,
right?
I think is huge, and I think that's my way of
building their confidence, building their awareness that I am improving. Goes a long way for mental health as well. So you almost have to start with.
And
the
mental
basics.
health sounds formal, but it's also mindset health. Is really what I'm talking about.
Right.
Is the hey, you can't just keep relying on me to come here and move your leg around. And I know it's way more than just that. I don't mean to minimize it, but it's the mental of what about everything else, and what are you eating, and where are you working out, and doing the steps, and you can do it. The confidence, the mental, like, you understand you're going to keep decaying unless you do this type stuff. Like, you need to get your mindset health fixed. Like, that's the priority.
Boom.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave this podcast episode. I got a client, but I'll listen to that.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
So anyway, that's just my thought on this. I'd love to bring medical into what we're doing at some point. I think a lot of our clients do go to physical therapists and get blood work drawn and go to chiropractors, obviously, and so there's a lot more value. Again, we can't do everything overnight, but the end-all, be-all vision is how do we help people fix themselves, right?
And do it like
holistically. Yeah, absolutely. Like with the mindset that we're all on the same team, not the physical therapist or chiropractor, saying one thing and whatever else, that it is a holistic mind, body, soul, proactive approach to really healing and fixing and taking people's life to a new positive level.
For sure. Yeah, and in school we talk about that a lot. It's called the multidisciplinary approach, where you don't put these different branches of healthcare, health and wellness in silos. Like, we want to realize that we want to, we're all just humans. We can't absorb all the information and have all the knowledge because it's just so complex, but we still need to work together because ultimately the goal is the same. We're trying to improve people's quality of life just using different knowledge and skill sets.
I've heard it. I've never seen it. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know any chiropractors that are partnered up with nurses and physical therapists and personal trainers and dietitians and all under one awesome umbrella that's really helping people. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I've certainly never seen like the ideal, and I'm not sure we'll be able to.
So what you're hearing is we shouldn't be in silos.
Yeah.
Is a thought. No one. It's still all in
hard
silos.
To act on.
It's still all in silos is my point. So yeah, push the envelope in your education too, that they might be preaching one thing, but I've just not seen it.
No, that's a good point.
And it's the same patients that just get physical therapy for years and years and years and years and just are dependent on it, just like they are medicine and whatever else. But how are you really moving the needle on just not repairing, but taking them to a whole new level
and making them sort of improving their self-efficacy and self-confidence, that they're capable and able to do this themselves. And that's my concern.
And not get in that same place or worse.
Right. Improve from where they're at. But and that's a concern for me with the field of physical therapy. And I really can't speak on it because I have no experience in the field and I don't have my license yet. But one thing that I've thought about is, I worry that like there are physical therapists, and I don't know that there are because I've only had one physical therapist and he was great. But I'm concerned that there's the sort of physical therapists almost want people to be dependent on them, or healthcare professionals in general. I shouldn't isolate physical therapists, but I worry that they want people to be dependent on them because that makes them feel like, oh, look at me, I'm having such an impact, I'm doing such a great job, they can't do this without me. When in reality, the goal should be to educate them in a way that they're able to take care of themselves. The goal should be that you don't want to keep them there, that you want them to leave.
Look, it's the value you bring people, right? So you fix somebody and they become bigger and better than they ever were. Who do you think that entire person's network is going to call for physical therapy? So it's a bad business decision is to make somebody dependent. There's nothing I would think the worst of a physical therapist if I knew he had the same client for years.
Yeah.
Right? Man, if you need to have walking billboards out there. Like, wait, hold on. You couldn't walk, and now you're walking and doing jumping jacks and squatting and lifting and stronger and healthier than you've ever been. Wait, who was your physical therapist? Like, you should be that. You know what I'm saying? So it's short-term thinking gets short-term results and smaller results versus big thinking. And now, not only does that person's network but now you're this respected medical professional that chiropractors want to work with, that doctors want to work with, that personal trainers want to work with, that everyone in town wants to work with because you're fixing people. That's my point.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. would love to do that.
So I'm just saying that, and the more I'm in this health and wellness industry, the more it's like medicine is just so you take more medicine and become more dependent on it. And just like any drugs, like you start with level 1, you want level 2, then level 3, and you become so dependent on it until you die. Like that's obnoxious. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely concerning. I mean, I think, and I always like to point out when I've had discussions with people about this topic before, about healthcare in general, and I always like to point out that I don't think people should ever like blame the doctors unless there's specific situations. But I think I don't think there's any sort of like doctors or healthcare workers that are like twirling their mustache like, oh, I'm really going to stick it to these patients. I think they're really trying their best. I think it's a systems problem that there's systems that
I don't think doctors are doing their best.
I mean, it depends. It depends, right? I mean,
I don't think they're doing their best. I just don't. Writing a quick prescription, and again, I shouldn't say all doctors by any means.
Right, and I'm certainly not saying that all of them are doing their best. I don't know,
but most are quick to write prescriptions, and I don't know that that's what's best for a lot of people out there, and that's the point. Is that, and I get it from a doctor's point of view, like they can't be a doctor and mindset coach and personal trainer and whatever else, but very quick to write prescriptions. I mean, very. And I'm not saying they're anything, but that you're sitting in the waiting room for an hour, you're sitting in the chain or the where you get checked for an hour, he comes in for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, what's wrong, here's a prescription, on to the next. I don't think they're sitting there thinking about it. I think they should be sitting there thinking about it is the point, not
Thinking about what they're doing with the situation.
quick. And I know that they're on 6-month waiting lists and whatever else, but it's just, could be better. That's all I'm saying.
With 100%.
And it's not all, I mean, there's amazing surgeons and doctors and super knowledgeable people and
that's what I'm saying is I think there are the good doctors, a lot of times the people who really do want to apply their knowledge in the best way possible, I think they're sometimes in systems that make it hard for them to do that. And I think it's like when you see whatever it is, I don't know exactly how it works, but if you see 30 patients a day and you have to see each of those for 20 to 30 minutes each, I mean, there's only 15 minutes. Like there's only so much you can get out of that. I recently heard, and I don't even know if this is true, that the Cleveland Clinic was at 30 minutes per session for physicians, and now it's down to 20 minutes. And it's like, you can only get so much out of that, even if you're the best physician in the world.
100%. Okay, I mean, they're in the system, and I get it, but at some point, these amazing doctors need to be like, hold on, time out. This is not okay.
Yeah. No, I agree. We still need to hold individual physicians, regardless of, the constraints they're put in. You still need to hold individual physicians and individual clinicians responsible for the quality of care. I mean, for sure.
What are 3 things you're most grateful for?
3 things I'm most grateful for. That's easy. I'd say my family, super supportive, awesome family. My education is something I'm super grateful for. And this job. Super grateful for this job.
Nice. Good answer.
Thank you.
What are you fearful of?
Fearful of? I don't know. That's kind of a tricky question for me to answer, only because it's impossible for me to say I'm not fearful of something. I think just as a human, you're going to be fearful of some things. Otherwise, you wouldn't survive if you weren't afraid of some things, sure. Dying and being attacked by animals. That's
Jeremy would actually debate you on that.
I'm sure he would.
You don't have to fear death. You don't have to fear.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I fear death. I just think it's a tricky question, because it's there isn't something that I'm like, oh God, I'm so afraid of that. But also there's a lot of situations that I haven't been put in, and I'm not sure how I'll respond in those situations yet. So I don't know. I guess it's to be determined.
I have an idea. I think you're going to be fine.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the point of the fearful question, is to start thinking about it. What am I really worried about? What am I really fearful of? And is it a delusion?
Right.
Which most of the time it is.
I think a lot of times, yeah. I think a lot of times, other than fear of being murdered when you see someone who's going to try and hurt you. Well, I mean, I think there's real situations where that people can be in where it's a life or death.
I get it, but the majority of people worried about that have nothing to worry about.
Would definitely agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Man, well, welcome to the team.
Thank you so much.
Good job. I think you've definitely portrayed who you are and your personality, and again, earnest, educated, eager, young, and refreshing.
I'm gonna put that on my resume.
You should.
Thank you, Kevin.
That's a great testimonial. Okay, everyone, thank you. Peace. 50.
Thank you.
Podcast.
Really appreciate it.
We are out.